Wow, this is what happens when you let one little drop seedling go at the back of your lot and turn into this huge fig tree, which unfortunately doesn't produce a lot of figs, so I'm taking it out. You can see where I'm sort of removing it from back here. You can see there's still a lot left. I'm actually going to have our tree trimmers come and take the rest of that out because it's simply too big for me to handle. I took all the branches off I could get, but the rest of it's just too darn large. And you can, again, get the idea that from this, what's lying on the ground here. That's the limbs that were reaching up into the sky to get to the light amongst all the other trees. I use my little chainsaw to cut the larger fig limbs up into something more manageable to fit in the green bin. We're having a tree trimmer come to do a tree in the front yard very soon. Probably going to ask him to take out the rest of this fig tree and also run this material through the shredder, at least that which we cannot use in the garden. I thought a little bit about cutting these limbs up into smaller lengths and using them much like we've used these wine bottles to line a bed. Obviously it wouldn't be as long lasting, but it might actually be nice. You can sort of see in the background there maybe the other bed, which is missing all of its edging right now. The wooden limbs that we had around it are totally disintegrated, and they always tended to get popped up and grabbed by the hose and other stuff. So I'm thinking that perhaps something similar to the wine bottles here might be a little better for our needs. And here's another project in the garden that needs to be done. Every year over the past several, I've always added a few more daffodils to our garden. I love the way they come up. They make such a grand statement every winter, and I'll explain that in a minute, here in California. And last year I planted a bag of 75, and this year I have prepared to do much of the same thing. And there they are, the bag of 75 to go on the ground. I can't do these all at once, but I do try to get as many in at a time as I can, just to make it easier on myself. And I'll show you how I do that right now. Now, first of all, like many times here on A Gardener's Notebook, I ask you, don't laugh at me too much. I was at the home improvement store, and I happened to notice this devil. He was cheap. He was more than half price off. I knew it was kind of flimsy to begin with, but I figured I'd give it a try, just to see if it was possible to make it a little easier to put these bulbs in the ground. Mainly I have a lot of bulbs in the ground already, and so digging up with a shovel tends to turn up almost more bulbs than I plant. So I figured with this I could kind of pick and choose where I want to put them, and then save myself a little bit of work. As you can see, pretty flimsy, but it is telling me that I might actually get some use out of perhaps a better made bulb planter like this. It's really, really nice. You basically put it in the ground, step on it, and then it pulls out a nice plug of soil. And this one I'm actually going to do a second time to go a little bit deeper. Now, here we are. We haven't really gotten our winter rains yet, so the ground is still pretty hard. So even with this, it's a little difficult. After we get another substantial rain, get another hole over there. Plant one of these in. I do like this. It appears it's getting them deeper than my shovel method did, unless I worked really, really hard at it. So I do like that. But when the rains come, I think we'll have yet a much easier time of it, simply because the ground will just be easier to dig into. Also here, I've got quite a few tree roots, and that doesn't help either. But you see it pulls a nice plug out there. These are pretty sizable bulbs too, so I'm really liking the larger holes. And then you can try and knock the plug back out there. This one's actually gonna come out. Come on. Again, the soil's so very dry that it makes it a little difficult. Oh, you can see the tree roots there too. It makes it a little difficult to get the plugs to drop back out, although I can always use some other dirt to cover them. There we go. To cover them up as well. And right here you can see why I'm so keen to get these bulbs into the ground. For most people in the Midwest, in the East, or in the North, you plant bulbs in the winter before the freeze so they come up the next spring. Here in Southern California, the minute we start getting our winter rains, which, as I said, we had a fairly sizable rain the other day, the minute we start getting those rains, the bulbs start popping. Now I'm gonna guess these are probably paperwhites. We get paperwhites, snowbells, we got some freesia over there, and then the last of all are the daffodils. So I get a little bit of leeway, but not a lot, and so it really behooves me to get to work and get the rest of these 75 bulbs into the ground. I think I got about 68 left. That's all for this episode of In the Garden. Thank you for joining us. This has been a Gardener's Notebook, and I'm Douglas E. Welch. For more information, you can always visit the website, douglasewelch.com or douglasewelch.com/AGN to take you right to a Gardener's Notebook. Comment, write, tell me what's going on in your garden. I'd love to hear. This is my way of sharing with you, but I'd love to have you share back with me. You can leave comments on the blog or send email to agn@welchwright.com. There'll be links on the website and also in the description of the YouTube video. Until next time, keep digging.